You are listening to the Knightline Sports Network, brought to you by Travis Dever and the Dever team, 386-690-1636.
Welcome to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
All right, hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barlaw, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit chadbarlaw.com. You can also call Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636. We are taking your calls, 844-580-WDBO, 844-580-9326, or use the open mic feature in the WDBO app. I am AP Knightline, or at UCF_Knightline on Twitter. I have Big Ben Stout with me, Big Social 32, and we have Jeff Allen as well with us. He does the AAC report on the Knightline Sports Network and a podcast of his own. What is it again? I always forget the name of your other show.
It's called Jeff Allen Sports Talk. I put a lot of thought into it.
Well, there you go. That's I feel silly now. Okay. Anyway, we have Jeff Allen with us. I want to say one thing, first of all. This is a non-sports thing, but I'm just saying that I'm going to pray for the family of Eddie Van Halen tonight, because I'm a musician. I've always been a musician. It got me into doing radio and podcasts because I had all this gear laying around, and I wanted to talk about sports. I had all this gear from being a musician and put it all together and used it for other stuff. But Eddie Van Halen was a huge influence in my life, and I just kind of wanted to say that. Yeah. I know, Ben, you've had Van Halen experiences as well, so we'll talk about that just for a little while. I mean, you said that you went to a show with your dad or whatever recently.
That's right, yeah. I guess it was about 8, 9, 10 years ago. It was in the Amway Center when it was first opened. It was one of the first concerts. My dad invited me to go, and we had floor seats, and it was an awesome experience. It was incredible. So, I mean, R.I.P. Eddie Van Halen is a huge musical icon.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, do you have Eddie Van Halen or Van Halen memories at all?
I don't have a brush with greatness with Eddie Van Halen, but I would say that, the music just such resonates from, my younger days and going through junior high and high school, and the fact that, they went through, different iterations of the band with David Lee Roth and with Sammy Hagar, and Eddie Van Halen was the constant, and just one bad musician. Man. Yeah. He was awesome.
Absolutely.
And we were talking off air. He's known for what he does with the strings, but tremendous on keyboards.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. All right, so back to sports, I guess. We have Joe in the studio, by the way, as well. And then we have a special guest on the phone. We have Chase, that is one of the producers as well. Chase Bunker is on the phone, so we're going to talk to him as well. I want to say we're going to talk about this Tulsa game tonight. UCF played Tulsa on Saturday. Unfortunately, it did not turn out quite the way that we all had envisioned it, which it usually doesn't when we play Tulsa, unfortunately. Our record against Tulsa, I think that they have 9 wins against us now, and we have like 3 wins or 4 wins or something like
that. It's 3.
Yeah, 3. So I was hoping it was going to be 8-4, but whatever. UCF 26, Tulsa 34. We want to talk to you guys about this. I know that there are a lot of people out there that have some pretty hot takes, and I would love to hear them tonight. So 844-580-WDBO, 844-580-9326. I'll say it again, 844-580-9326. You can call us and give us your best, especially if you're one of these fire Coach Heupel people, which I think is a little crazy. But I know there is a lot of you out there that are thinking these crazy things, and then I guess there's a lot that don't think that crazy thing as well. So I would love to hear from both sides of that. And Chase, I know that you have a little bit of an opinion on this particular subject, correct?
Yeah, I would say so. I know that you and I were kind of texting back and forth. I'm not on the fire hypo train because, I mean, we're only 3 games into the season. But there's just some things that we've kind of realized during his tenure is that he's not really a good play caller. It just seems like there will be times where we just absolutely sputter and we just can't get ourselves out of it. Like for these last 3 games, all they have in common is that for some reason we have either like a quarter where we just don't do a dang thing. And he's very easy to outcoach. His teams are very undisciplined. Like right now, we are at 45 penalties in only 3 games, mind you. 45 penalties for 314 yards. In 2018, we had 97 penalties. So to quote Bon Jovi, whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, why is there a helmet in the air? Like, what's up with that? Like, why is someone just chucking up a helmet in the air? I thought there was a multitude of things. Like, I'm not going to, put it all on hypo because I thought the O-line was also bad as a whole. Like, how is it that Dylan Gabriel is getting pressured on a 3-man rush? Literally, a 3-man rush. Like, that's not a good thing. And I'm going to be on the record. I know a lot of people, and it's not cool, and I know I said something so I wasn't as mean as everyone else. People torching Matthew Lee. First off, don't attack the guy. The kid's probably barely 18. I don't know, but I know he's a freshman, which means if he's a freshman starting, that means he has some talent, he has some good. However, I was really surprised how long they kept him out there, considering how many false starts there were, holding penalties. I do think he's going to bounce back. I have faith in the kid, and I hope that he learns from this lesson and that hopefully we can joke about this next year or a few years during his senior night. Be like, man, remember that one game where you sucked? Oh, that was splendid. But going back to Heupel, this is what I've realized. We have no 2-minute and 1-minute drill because every time that we have the ball down one possession, we have to go to length of the field, we are either 3 and out or we'll luck into 1 first down, and then we just sputter after that. The fact that Heupel, even at the end of the first half, like I texted you this, Andrew, you're on the 30-yard line, you have all 3 timeouts, 52 seconds left, and you just take a knee? Heupel, do you realize this is UC bleeping F? Like, this isn't like it's Vanderbilt or anything. Like, that's 52 seconds. That's 51 more seconds than we need to score. And, mind you, we get the ball back. So I don't know why he's playing so conservatively. I think Heupel, and I know that you have an hour-long show, and I'm only taking up 45 minutes of it all. It's the fact that Heupel is getting haunted by the Mackenzie Milton injury, and you're seeing it with the play calling on Dylan Gabriel. And because he's not running the ball as much, defenses aren't afraid anymore. Because one of the beautiful things about Mackenzie was he could run. And what does that do? That opens up the defense because you don't know if he's going to run the ball, if he's going to pass the ball. And it helped out a lot with the UCF speed. Our play calling wasn't good. The fact that, nobody knew the play. So it's like, hey, Pat, cool, first down. Everyone in the line.
Yeah.
Rack him.
What's the play?
Well, Chase, I agree with you on a lot of that stuff, and we can talk about all that stuff. I don't know why you don't have your own show, by the way. If the Suits are listening, Jerry and
I don't know.
They all talk about the Suits
trying.
all the time. If the Suits are listening, you need your own show. Not on Tuesday nights 9 to 10, by the way. But you do need your own show.
After 10? Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock. We'll do that instead.
There you go. Absolutely. All right. Thank you, man, for your takes. We will discuss that stuff for sure. I appreciate it, and I agree with some of the stuff.
There's a lot to unpack there.
There is a lot to unpack.
It is a
little bit.
Yeah, you're awesome though, and I appreciate that. So
I appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for getting the callers started tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So
more on the Chase Bunker show after this.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff, since you're hanging in over there and haven't really had a chance to say much, what do you think about this situation, especially the the Josh Heupel situation. People are really down on this guy.
Well, let me back up 1 second just to say that, we're not giving Tulsa enough credit.
Absolutely. They're a good
100%
team.
agree.
They have built a terrific defense. That linebacker, Zaven Collins, he's a dude, and he's going to play on Sundays. The defensive backfield, they cover man-to-man, and, that probably helped with their three-man rush being able to get through besides our offensive line problems. And they're going to play Cincinnati on the 17th, so that's a big game on the schedule the day we play Memphis. So as far as Heupel goes, Chase brought up something that I had made note of, that he really struggles to call plays when the game is tight coming down to the wire, which does not allow us to play fast and do what we do. And Heupel, you could see the play clock running down, and they're still waiting for the play to come in, at 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's just not good. And I think, part of the problem is, we haven't been able to play fast, whether it's, the fake injuries or the fact that, we're not getting the play calls in. I think our offensive line doesn't know what to do if we're not snapping the ball in 2 seconds.
I have a theory about that, actually. I have a theory that we have pushed the limits of being offsides for a number of years, and it's catching up to us because that's what these guys are used to, and nobody is ever really set. That's my opinion. And I don't know if that's true or not. I was talking about it with Kyle Israel, former UCF quarterback that's on our podcast as well. He was on this show last year with us, and he didn't know if that was true or not. You'd probably have to watch some film to figure that out. But that's my suspicion that the refs have finally really. I mean, probably the opposing coaches are talking about it a little bit more to them because there's always calls into the refs before games, look, or emails, whatever, watch out for this, watch out for that. They do this a lot, or whatever, trying to, sway referees or whatever. And that's just my theory. I don't know if that's true. We'll have to find out a little bit more. Quickly, because we have a break coming up here.
Right,
we have a couple minutes.
Because Chase took up the entire...
Yeah, it's fine.
No, it's all good. I'm just kidding. I think everything that has been said so far is for the most part true. And yes, we should give Tulsa a ton of credit because the ability to rush three guys, because they have huge guys up front, it provided such a different look for Dylan Gabriel, looking around the field because his guys are covered. It's hard to get open because they've got extra guys in the field in coverage, and that one linebacker is just the real deal. But when it comes to Heupel and when it comes to his offensive system, I mean, speed and the amount of plays, I mean, that's our competitive advantage. And as we've noted numerous times, the plays themselves aren't necessarily trick plays or creative, but the speed and the amount of plays are, and it just provides such a different look for the referees to see every week. It provides a different look for the fans to see every week. I mean, Kyle Israel, as you mentioned, talks about it's almost like watching a basketball game. Football fans aren't used to seeing it, and so I know we got to go to a break. There was just a lot that was weird going on in that game, and hopefully we can get back at it in a couple weeks against Memphis, and we've got a lot of opportunity in front of us.
All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. We'll be right back on Knightline at Night.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
An auto accident can change your life forever. At Chad Barr Law, we are raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Hi, I'm Chad Barr, and I want you to know that our entire team is dedicated to providing you with the representation you deserve in your greatest time of need. If you or a loved one have been injured in an auto accident, call 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit chadbarlaw.com. At Chad Barr Law, our clients come to us in need and leave as family. Offices, Altamont Springs.
And now, Back to Nightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, we're back on Nightline at Night. There's a little bit of Van Halen that reminds me of being in fifth grade at the time, actually, of that song. So I remember exactly where I was for the very first time when I heard that song. Believe it or not, I can close my eyes and I would be right back there.
Wow.
I was thinking about that on the way home. That was just a big song for me back in the day. So I was at the Pizza Hut. It was after, and it played on the jukebox, literally. We had one restaurant in our town, and it was a Pizza Hut, and we all went there after anything big in the town. It was a football game or something, and there it was. It came on the jukebox. It was huge. All right. I'm Andrew Phegley. This is Nightline at Night. We're live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barr Law, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036, for a free consultation, or visit chadbarlaw.com. Call Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach real estate needs as well, 386-690-1636. We're taking your calls, 844-580-WDBO, or use the open mic feature in the WDBO app. I'm Andrew Phegley. Like I said, I got Big Ben Stout here. We've also got Jeff Allen of the AAC Report and the Jeff Allen Sports Talk show. And we're talking UCF stuff, and we want to talk to you guys. There's a lot of people with a lot of opinions after this game. We want you to call. Again, 844-580-9326. Ben, you kind of got cut off on the last thing. We have a few minutes here before our break. Do you want to go back to saying a little bit what you were saying?
Yeah.
It was a debacle.
It was.
That's what it was.
It was, and you talked a lot about the history of UCF playing Tulsa, right? And I think that on the flip side of that, I think we get a little bit of the advantage of that when we play Memphis sometimes. Is what is not necessarily the, when you're talking about UCF versus Memphis, is not the 30 years that we, since we lost to them, or in Tulsa, it's not about necessarily last year or the overall 9-4 record. What it really is about is when, especially early in the game, and Dylan Gabriel, spectacular talent, still a young quarterback. The Tulsa game was not a good game for him last year on the road, and early in the game, when things start to not go your way, when you get a little momentum and then it gets crushed, which happened often in this game, you could start to see on TV, at least, when Dylan Gabriel looked to the sideline, you start to see a little bit of a deer in the headlights look. But it wasn't just him. Certainly, I'm not going to just pick on him. You saw some bad body language on the sideline towards the end of the game when we still had a chance. We were down by 8. We still had a chance. And so some of those issues we definitely need to work out, along with, of course, the obvious ones of the penalties. But really some of those is just a weird game from the sense of there was a lot of momentum killers in this game, and it seems like a little bit of a curse for us right now.
Yeah, so we broke some of our streaks that we had going, and that's one of the things that hurts me the most about this. We broke the 30 or more points. We had done that. We failed to do that for the second time in 41 games.
Right.
So that hurts. And then also the home streak. We were second in the nation, I think, with 21 games, only behind Clemson. And that's a bummer. That was big for us at home. Now, this year is not the same, obviously, at home. There were only a handful of fans there. I think they said 8,000 or something. 8,847 or 74 is what this thing in front of me says. It was raining. There's lots of things. It's 2020.
Yeah.
So, I think that this season is going to have an asterisk by it anyway, of course, for the rest of time. And I hope that we can just maybe we can just forget this season. Well, maybe we can just forget about it all altogether.
Well, the one thing I will say to that, and I know that UCF fans may not want to hear it right now, but we are we are absolutely have a lot in front of us. We have a lot to play for this season. If we go undefeated, we still have a great chance of the NY6 games. So there's no doubt about that.
All righty. Hey, we got to take another break real quick here. We'll be right back on Knightline at Night.
I'm Jeff Allen. Join me each and every week on the Knightline Sports Network for the AAC Report. We bring you in-depth coverage of each school in football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, golf, tennis, and more, as well as bring you insider interviews and focus in on the biggest games and news of the week. That's all right here each week on the AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
Welcome. This is a promo for the Take a Left at Albuquerque podcast, new to the Knightline Sports Network. You should listen to it. I say things like this.
We need to stop blaming Jerry because we would do the exact same thing if we owned the Dallas freaking Cowboys. Do you know how much fun it is to own the Dallas Cowboys?
My guests will say things sometimes like this.
It's the Lord of the Flies thing that happens when they don't understand that things are wrong, spoiler alert, until Piggy dies.
Lord of the Flies has been out for like 100 years. I don't even know.
Yeah. Sorry to everyone at home who I spoiled the book for. A book's been out for like 90 years or something.
And sometimes, rarely though, I'll say really stupid things like this. If they don't make it out of the West and the Raptors get to the finals, I will go on either this show or whoever's show and say that Kawhi Leonard is overrated because I have too much evidence of it. New episodes drop every Friday with me and some of my good friends right here on the Knightline Sports Network.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Knightline at Night. I'm Andrew Phegley. We're live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barr Law, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation, or visit chadbarlaw.com. And you can call Travis Dever for your new Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636. I guess nobody wants to talk to us about the UCF stuff. Everybody has opinions. They can say it on social media. They can say it on message boards, but they don't want to. We're giving everybody an opportunity, but they don't want to call and talk to us. Yeah. I don't understand this. I really don't.
I mean, they don't want to put their name on it.
Yeah, I got Ben Stout here. I've got Jeff Allen as well. Got Joe in the studio, and we're talking UCF. This is the only all UCF show on the airwaves in Orlando. And we're asking people to call and give us their opinions and talk to us about what they want to talk about. Everybody wants to give their opinion, but nobody wants to call and give their opinion. I just don't get it. That's why I'm saying that. It is what it is.
They don't want to come out and say fire Heupel. They just want to write it.
They just want to write it. They want to tweet it. So they're keyboard warriors. That's what's going on. What did George O'Leary used to call the keyboard warrior guys? What he called them? What was it? Faceless internet weasels or something like that. I don't know.
Those were the days.
Somebody asked him something one time, and he replied, "Those faceless internet weasels." You know. Yeah, so
it's like a George O'Leary response right there too. Like that's such a George O'Leary thing to say.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But
Jeff,
I
haven't talked.
It is time for people to stop overreacting because we are spoiled so much by winning. So the loss is going to hurt a little bit more. But Night Bengal Rogers said on the podcast the other night, do you remember 2015?
Yep.
That wasn't that long ago.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we're not going to be undefeated every season as much as we would like to be, and no, I don't think Josh Heupel should be fired now. Can we be critical of him? Absolutely. Because I think there are some things that we need to be critical about.
He's 24-5, though. Well, 24-6, folks.
No,
no, it's 5.
Right.
It's 5 now.
Right.
Yeah, I am right. This was written, I'm looking at the sheet and it was written afterwards. But 24-5, you don't fire any coach that is 24-5. UCF does not fire any coach with a $10 million buyout. That's the other thing that people need to remember. Sorry, Jeff, for cutting you off, but go ahead.
Yeah, no. But, the things that I had mentioned earlier that, I'm critical about, is the offensive mistakes. You don't follow up a 19 penalty game with an 18 penalty game. That doesn't show you're working on things. And then I think the other thing that really stands out to me is we're very reluctant to use the middle of the field. I mean, everything on our passing offense goes to the outside. We had heard so much about when Heupel was at Missouri, he likes to utilize the tight end. Well, we don't see that a lot here. And,
that baffles my mind.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those people that keeps saying that, and it baffles my mind.
And, we got a great weapon in Otis Anderson. He's going to be a mismatch on any linebacker on any team.
Yeah, he hasn't been healthy, though, the last week or so, and he wasn't healthy in this game either.
Seemed like none of our running backs were healthy, especially in the second half.
This is another thing, and we talked about this before the season started. We talked about this on the podcast Knightline, and I think we probably talked about it on this show as well. This is a different year. There wasn't the spring ball did not exist, and we were worried about injuries. We were worried especially about ankle and knee injuries and everything else. Greg McCrae, perfect example of that, was out with stuff like that last year. And what's happening almost every game, he's getting hurt. He was on the sidelines with his pads off this last game.
Exactly.
So who knows what's going on with him. I hope Richie Grant's doing better. We need him. I mean, that's a huge loss. That may be the biggest loss so far, to be honest with you, of somebody in a game. Defensively, Richie Grant holds that defense together at the safety position, if you can imagine that. He's that good of a safety.
Oh, he's incredible.
Yeah.
So that was huge, and I cringed at that moment, and I was just like, oh, boy, this is, one of the downers. Then the Josias Cradle. We finally get to see Josias Cradle make a freaking awesome play.
And
we've been waiting for this. I've been talking about him all summer long. I mean, the entire time leading up to this. Josias Cradle. I cannot wait to see Josias Cradle. We finally see him, in an actual play that meant something instead of just a little dump-off pass. We've seen him on that. And what does he do? He lowers his head. And honestly, it was not the right thing to do. He shouldn't have lowered his head like that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what'd you guys think of that call? Because, I think that was
my opinion might be a little bit different than Ben's, because Ben was shaking his head at me when I said that. But if you read the rule says, and you have to understand what these rules were made for, why this rule even exists. The rule exists to keep people from getting head and neck injuries, period. I don't care what anybody else tells you. Defenseless, blah, blah, blah. It's head and neck injuries. This is the whole thing with football. We're lucky that they haven't made it flag or touch football at this point, where they've only instilled a rule like this. It's a little bit lighter than it was before. Yeah. Now you really have to meet the criteria. Go ahead, Jeff.
It stands out because you rarely see it called on the offensive player.
Absolutely.
Yes. It's just never called.
Coach Heupel said that it has happened 2 times in his career, an offensive player, that he's seen it.
And that's the reason why I'm shaking my head. It is the first time that I could ever recall seeing it on an offensive player. And again, going back to what I said earlier about momentum killers, I mean,
it was a huge momentum killer.
I mean, him making that catch and the run after the catch. I mean, it looked like okay, maybe this is it. Maybe we'll start clicking now. And
Josias Cradle finally has come out, and that's what I thought. Yes. And I was just like, oh man, you got to be kidding. And you could just feel the energy sucked away from the team at that moment.
Completely. I mean, that was it.
That was it. That was the final straw.
And just real quick on penalties, a guy I follow on Twitter, Chris Bogan, he's a great UCF fan. He had 2017, 8.4 penalties per game. 2018, 7.5. That's the first year under Heupel. 2019, 8.5 penalties per game, so same as the 2017 undefeated season. So pretty good last year, even though some critical moments. So far this year, 15 penalties per game. Now, is that the effect of no spring ball? This is a fast-paced offense. We get a lot of pre-snap penalties. I mean, this is the effect of having a weird preseason and no spring ball. I think that we're seeing it along with the injuries. I mean, a lot of the injuries we're not talking about is Parker Bedreau. I mean, he's been out as well.
With a concussion the entire time. Now, another question that I have is, do we still have these same criticisms of Coach Heupel when we win? Are people... I mean, you know what I'm saying? I only hear about this when we lose. We've lost 5 times since he's been here, and Go ahead, Jeff.
I think we hear plenty about the undisciplined part of the game. I think people still complain about that when we win.
Okay.
I mean, we noted it last week. I mean, after the ECU game. I mean, there was a lot of talk about, I mean, obviously there's a lot of penalties there as well, and so it's one of those things. Like when we face a big physical defensive team that has a lot of talent on it, which we just faced. And worries me about future opponents like Cincinnati.
I believe Tulsa should be ranked, by the way.
I know. It's crazy how we dropped from 11 in the country to unranked, and a team like Tulsa, who played a great game and deserves a lot of credit.
Played a great game against Oklahoma State and should have beat Oklahoma State as well, and they're not even cracking the top 25.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
I will say, I think you got to give some criticism to Heupel, because I just see this every time with his team. Is the defense always seems to struggle. It just seems like when I watch the Georgia Tech game, there's guys just going on slant routes that are really easy to stop, but then they're breaking out for 15-yard gains on these slant routes, and you're just like, who's covering this guy? I think that's some criticism. And that's just me. I mean, I think, personally for me, I think Heupel isn't going to get fired, but I do think the seat is getting a little bit warmer for him. I do really think so.
I don't even think it's. It hasn't even the sun hasn't even hit it yet.
You don't think so?
I mean, literally, it is cold as ice. Yeah, there's not a chance.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of people say now there's really not a chance that he's going anywhere. That he'll stay here for a long time, because nobody's going to want him.
Which
you know
is
what I'm
just
saying?
insane.
It's not going to get him a job with what's going on right now either, with the penalties, especially. That is the crazy thing. The discipline thing, something needs to change with that. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's too much of a player's coach. Okay, I don't like to bring up the last head coach that we had. I don't like to talk about him, but I'm going to say something about him. He was a player's coach, but then would rip the player's head off on the sideline if the player needed it. I've not seen that from Josh Heupel.
That's the part that I feel is missing as well. Is that what you would think would cut it down is the kind of punishment or they don't want to see his wrath on the sideline, right? And a lot of it is just they go back to the sideline and it's no big deal. It is what it is, and it seems like it's not addressed as much in a really harsh way during practice and preparation. And
we don't know because we don't see practice.
We don't know, but certainly in the moment, it's not.
If this would have happened on the team that I played on in college, Glenn Mason was my head coach. We would have been crawling up and down the field, literally on our hands and knees. And if you've ever done that or done crab crawls where you stick your butt up in the air and do that, it sucks. It sucks bad.
I did that in Pee Wee football, and I never was a fan of it. I was just like, I do not want to do this. This is not fun.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, I think what also begs the question as well is, besides the head coaches, who are the leaders on this football team?
That's true.
I think that's something we have yet to see. Last year, you probably say Nate Evans is the leader on defense, and offense. You probably think Adrian or Gabe Davis. Who are the leaders in this football team?
Well, I got two examples that I have a couple clips that I want to play here. Here's one example who I think is one of the leaders.
And I just think there's opportunities in the game that we obviously didn't take advantage of, but shoot, man, I put this one on me, man. I just got to be better QB play. We gotta be able to execute on a high level, and it shows if you don't do that.
That was Dylan Gabriel, by the way, the quarterback. Here's another guy. This is Otis Anderson.
I don't think it was on the coach. It's on the players. We have the SU. We got so many playmakers that one-score games, stuff like that. We shouldn't lose. No matter what's called, we can call a basic play, and we should be able to house it. We got players everywhere on the field that can make plays, so that's just on us.
Sorry for the Zoom audio. That's all we got. But those two guys right there saying it's not on the coaches, Dylan Gabriel a little bit much. I think he's an interesting guy because normally what he says when you ask him about himself, you did this, you set a record today, whatever. He'll say he won't even acknowledge himself. He'll talk about the offensive line. If it wasn't for the offensive line and the players that surround me, I couldn't do it. It's not about me, it's about them. Like, that's what he says all the time. Otis Anderson, on the other hand, as well, put it on them. And
Right.
It is on them. It's more on them than it is on the coach, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can change coaches. A coach can not be there one game, and it's not going to make a huge difference. Head coach.
At the end of the day, the players have to execute, right? I mean, it's a balance. I mean, you win as a team, you lose as a team. As you mentioned in the podcast this week, how Heupel had a little bit better press conference after a loss than he probably has last year. He's shown a little bit of maturity there. He put a lot more on him than when we were looking for that last week. But I agree with you 100% on Dylan Gabriel. I would say on the defense, you look to guys like Richie Grant, who unfortunately, as you said, he got knocked out this game. I mean, that's a huge blow. I think he's a big leader on the defense as well. But Dylan absolutely has that cool leadership mentality that obviously he takes a little bit from Mackenzie Milton. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we're going to continue talking about this, but we have to take a little bit of a break here. So we will take that break, and we'll be right back on Knightline at Night. Hey, Jeep Wrangler owners, have you ever sat in your office at work and watched the rain just pour into your Jeep because the weatherman said that there was a 0 chance of rain, or you put your doors back on because there was a 100% chance and then not a drop of rain fell? Well, there's a company out there that can help take the worry away and give you the peace of mind to be without your doors. The company's called Life Without Doors. They make waterproof rain curtains and dash covers for Wranglers. Life Without Doors is there to help make the decision to leave the doors at home an easy one. Find out more at lifewithoutdoors.com.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, I'm Andrew Phegley. We're back on Knightline at Night. Finishing up here. We're brought to you by Chad Bar Law, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney, and Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach real estate needs. I've got Big Ben Stout here with me. I've got Jeff Allen as well from the AAC report. So, Jeff, talk to us real quick about what's going on in the rest of the AAC. What are the games coming up this week that we should keep our eyes on?
Well, it's interesting you should ask because, when you look at, Houston, it looks like they're finally going to take the field against Tulane tomorrow night. So they will finally get to play their first game. Temple will get to the gridiron for the first time themselves as they take on Navy. So a couple of teams finally making their debuts as we hurtle towards the middle of October, which is quite mind-boggling. And again, Cincinnati has dispatched South Florida. What a shock there! But it's still interesting to see. Cincinnati is going to be the threat. Memphis and SMU. That was a interesting game on this past Saturday. SMU rolled up to a 21-point lead and then coughed it up, but then was able to get a game-winning field goal at the end. So the conference is going to be quite a race this year.
And SMU is a offensive juggernaut, by the way. That's definitely, that quarterback is really good.
Yeah, although Roberson, that great wide receiver, after having 240 yards, hurt his knee, so that was not good.
Okay.
And he's a guy who's going to play on Sundays.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's good that there's some stuff going on.
Yeah, well, what makes me wonder, and that's what I said earlier, is that we do still have a chance of winning this conference and making the New Year's Six Bowl, because at this point...
Yeah, let's not forget that.
Right. At this point, with SMU beating Memphis, and obviously Cincinnati's undefeated, but we do play them this year. Tulsa and SMU, I highly doubt that they're going to run the table. They're good teams, but I highly doubt Tulsa's going to run the table, and certainly SMU could be tripped up at any moment as well. And so those are the two teams to really look out for in the AAC that are undefeated at the moment. And I don't want to neglect Cincinnati, but we have a chance to beat them. So, a one-loss UCF team is pretty much guaranteed to be in the AAC championship game. And then if we win that, who knows?
Yeah, Jeff, you got something there to reply with?
Just a closing thought. You mentioned earlier how banged up we are in the running game, but hey, you can only hope to contain Cole Schneider running the football.
Yeah, well, that was exciting. I liked that a lot. I love it when we get offensive linemen involved like that.
That was a crazy play.
Yeah, that was an interesting setup they did as well. If you notice, there were two offensive linemen in the backfield, not just one.
Yeah, what did you text me at that time? Like that was the big bone package or something like that?
Yeah, I know that play or that package is called Bone in Heupel's offense, and I was calling that Bone Plus.
Bone Plus, that's right.
It was like a wishbone with two linemen back there. So
a mega wishbone.
Yeah, exactly. Mega pack. Yeah, I do like that kind of stuff, and I would like to see a little bit more trickery from Josh Heupel. We've done a few. He did one at Memphis a couple of years ago on a fourth down. It went 70 yards or whatever, 40 yards. I don't know. I'd like it to
71,
be 71.
Taj McGowan.
Yeah, it was 71. Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right. Jeff, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, good to talk to you. Haven't talked to you in a while. Ben as well. Joe, thank you for keeping everything down there.
Hey, no worries,
we
guys.
will talk to you next week. We appreciate it. Have a good one. Go Knights.
Charge on.
Charge on.